team captured the area. Our team captured the area. We hit the enemy! Our team captured the area. Precise aim activated. Good job! We're under attack! Destroyed an enemy ship!
And yes everyone, welcome back to the channel, it's DFA, and today we are taking a look at the third iteration of my Cruiser's Guide featuring the tier 8 Japanese Takao. And so yes, in part 1 with the Aoba we discussed positioning techniques, in part 2 with the Myoko we talked about teamwork, and in part 3 this time we're going to talk about map awareness featuring the Takao. So a pretty decent survivability, that's an upgrade over Myoko. The maneuverability is still quite decent, concealment is also quite good for heavy cruiser at 8 kilometers. The main guns are a small upgrade over Myoko, they essentially deal more damage, still more than decent HE and decent AP as well. The turret traverse is absolutely ridiculously bad, that is something that you absolutely want to improve with your equipment setup. But yeah, let's talk about those amazing torpedoes, 16 of them, 16 61 centimeter torpedoes, 8 on each side, that's giving you more damage, burst damage, than almost all the tier 10 destroyers except the Summers and the Shimakaze, and you are at tier 8. Range of 8.4 km, you can stealth torp very efficiently with that ship, so absolutely amazing to have. But unfortunately the AA is not very good indeed, so you are very weak against air power, and your game will be completely different when there will be a CV on the enemy team, because at tier 8 you start meeting those very powerful CVs, so you have to be careful now. Yep, but there are no CVs in the gameplay. I have chosen to talk about map awareness, but still 4 enemy battleships and 2 heavy cruisers, one of them being the dreaded main, so we have to be extremely careful. And that's actually a nice way to be talking about map awareness. I've already covered it in a previous iteration of a Cruiser's Guide, and I will put a link in the comment section so you can take a look at it. It was, I would say, more generic. This one is going to be a little bit more focused on a certain amount of situations. And so it's kind of difficult to be making that kind of guides, because there are no general guidelines that you have to follow, and that is probably the topic that makes the difference between a good and a bad cruiser game or gameplay. But let's maybe go through the situations we will be facing, and hopefully I will be able to highlight the do's and don'ts of map awareness using this. Immediately notice that I'm rushing towards the cap. I am leading my team. You can probably guess that the enemy team is doing exactly the same, so you are not going to rush in the open where I'm aiming the torpedoes for the moment, because that will get you deleted by the battleships. We are surely going to be watching that zone very efficiently. You want to be putting yourself, voila, there you go, these are the battleships. And so I'm going to be waiting there. I want to see basically where the enemy DD is, and since C is already pretty much capped, I think he went there, and the mains is doing what he should not be doing, is exposing himself way too much right in front of my team. The North Carolina is not doing, it's not very good, it's actually taking too many risks, is being too aggressive. But that's okay, the mains is in a duel with him and I can safely engage him. So I would say that's the first rule of map awareness. You always want to be the least attractive target on the battlefield. Sorry. And a good way to do that is to pick fights that have already started. For example, take a look at that situation. The mains is pretty much a sitting duck for me. And the Vladivostok is going to join and to attack that North Carolina. So I'm going to fire torpedoes in that general direction. Hopefully some of them will be able to connect, and I'm not going to stay there for too long, because I know that as soon as the North Carolina is gone, it's my turn to get focused. And sure enough, maybe we can get rid of the mains, because we are starting to have a little bit too many enemy ships on the enemy team right in front of me. So I'm not protected by the island anymore. The Vladivostok is in a position to take me out, but I see if I can hopefully take the mains out of the game, and sure enough, no, the Kansas does it very good job. So we've taken out the most dangerous enemy cruiser, and now it's time to run away. Because when I look at the minimap, there is absolutely nothing to be done there for me, but there is an interesting situation right on top of B, where one of my battleships is actually flanking, is actually pushing towards C, and this guy is going to be engaged by the enemy team, and I will be able to support him without being the most interesting target on the battlefield. Take a look at that. Gneisenau is actually coming to engage that Massachusetts. And he's making a mistake because his team is not behind him to support him. They're actually pushing towards the Kansas at the bottom of B. And that's a situation you have to recognize, because that torpedoes, I'm going to send torpedoes there. He's certainly going to travel in a nice straight line to be brawling that Kansas, and he will be hitting all of my torpedoes. So there you go, map awareness again. That Gneisenau did not look where his team was, and is now in a 1 versus 2 against the Massachusetts and me. While the torpedoes thinking he was probably safe from the torpedoes, maybe he wasn't looking at me, he's basically pumped. There you go, half of the life gone. Excellent. And now we can finish that Gneisenau very comfortably. So yep, switching to AP to be able to hit the weak spots at that range, absolutely no problem. Notice that I'm right in the middle of the map, so essentially I'm surrounded by ships in every single direction, and that makes me, that's actually never going to make me the most immediate target for the enemy to shoot at. So it's a fairly simple situation there, but it's not it's a situation where I'm essentially able to pick my targets very comfortably, and I'm always in a position to be firing at someone or to support a position. And here, for example, there are 3 ships in front of us. Bismarck that is actually retreating, not a very interesting target, but the lightning there is actually following the battleship and is going to appear right in front of us. He's absolutely not looking at us, he's certainly focusing on the battleship he wants to catch, and sure enough, one salvo, bam, bam, there you go. So map awareness is absolutely vital. If that guy had been looking at the minimap instead of focusing on the battleships, he would have seen me and would have taken another direction, would have simply gave up on the key. Was actually not a threat anymore. His abandoning C is absolutely useless there. And here we are again looking at the minimap, and we see that the Bismarck there is going to come back into range, and we have 3 ships right in front of him. We are absolutely safe when engaging him, but we are not going to be able to finish him. That's okay, it's for my teammates to be able to deal with him, and we're going to turn around towards A and B, because B is, that's where we left the 2 enemy battleships, and they should be capping there. Okay, there you go. And so now it's an interesting situation, because we do have 2 battleships at B, there is one at C, absolutely not dangerous, the key is going to take care of him at some point. And we have 2 cruisers who are in a position to be supporting, they're actually a bit too far for that, and I'm concealed. So I'm basically invisible, I'm going to outspot the Vladivostok and the torpedoes, because those are the 2 ones, there you go, that's the Vladivostok, we have no idea where the torpedoes is. And now it's a tricky situation, because there we are actually the first one leading the team. As soon as I press that fire button, I will be spotted and I will be focused. So we're going to play it safe, we are going to put ourselves in a position to be retreating, because I'm anticipating that that torpedo is not anywhere near A, it's probably around B, somewhere behind that Vladivostok. Since he is not spotted, I have to be extremely careful. So I'm planning my exit route accordingly, I engage the Vladivostok, I get spotted, I will take a salvo from him, that's okay, but I have no idea where... Ah, there you go, that's the torpedo, he is spotted right... He's actually in a position to be hitting me, so I'm running away immediately, and there you go, that's what looking at the... That's what looking at the minimap helps, right? Okay, time to debrief the 5 engagements we've had into that gameplay. Number 1, the mains, exposing yourself too much, being absorbed into one duel, not noticing that the enemy team is in position to be punching you in the face. What I did correctly there was to protect myself in behind an island and only retreat as soon as I saw the enemy battleships were in a position to hit me. Second engagement against the Gneisenau was actually YOLOing my Massachusetts, YOLOing because he failed to notice that his team has actually moved and was not in a position to support him, turning the engagement into a 2 versus 1 in our advantage. And while doing that engagement number 3, the torpedoes rushing in a straight line towards the Kansas, which I had left at B, and eating all the torpedoes. You have to recognize those situations, especially with the torpedo boat. Engagement for the Lightning, focusing so much on rushing my battleships that he forgets that there is a cruiser right in front of him, putting myself in a position to be punching him in the face at that range. And finally number 5, looking at the minimap, seeing that I can only see one battleship, the Vladivostok, and that I will get focused as soon as I open fire, and anticipating putting myself in a nice position to be running away. And so there you go, it's kind of difficult to make a structured guide to map awareness, but hopefully this will give you a number of situation pointers on how to improve your cruiser's gameplay. And if you found it useful, just let me know in the comment section below. I will put a link to the original map awareness tutorial I made 1 year ago, which is actually kind of interesting as well, so take a look at it. And next time we'll talk about Ibuki and torpedoes. Until then, stay safe, take care, that was DeathFromAbove signing out, bye bye!